Chapter 6, To Do or Die. The familiar scent of antiseptic greets you as you arrive at the Coyne family estate and tentatively push open the door to Xander's room. Mr. Coyne, it's Dr. Gould. I'm here to check in on your progress. Can you hear me? Heavy curtains block out the day's sunshine, bathing the space in shadows. A rustling comes from a darkened corner. Shh! Startle, and you gaze fixes on Dom's shadowy presence. His husky voice emerges from the darkness, sending a shiver down your spine. You just got to sleep. You nod your understanding and move to check Xander's chart in the dim light. I'm starting him on anti-inflammatory medication. In theory, it should tame the swelling in his brain, but in reality, it'll probably take a miracle for him to make it into that parlay. Yeah, I figured. Xander stirs fitfully. Dom gestures for you to follow him through an adjoining door. As you close it behind you, you steel yourself to the voice, your only remaining move. Dom, the parlay's in a week. If the meds are going to work, we need to give them the most time possible. We need to go back to Mr. Betancourt and ask for more time. And what would you like me to tell him, Gray? Sorry, my dad's still laid up from a medical incident we tried to hide from everyone. Can I have an extension? You could tell him there's a scheduling conflict. You're holding out for the proper preparations. Proper preparations. Surely a gathering this important is a lot of moving parts, the right venue, security details, become the world's biggest div install. And with every new delay, more suspicions will pop up. I can't go to him with BS, Gray. Best case scenario, he just thinks I'm trying to stay out of trouble with Dad and I look weak. Worst case, he starts asking why I won't just produce my dad. I have to push back. It starts a mess and the whole family looks weak. Okay, so your pride might take a hit. You don't get it. He runs a hand through his disheveled hair, and as you study him in the dim light, you really see him for the first time today. His usual pristine appearance is gone, replaced by someone who clearly hasn't slept. Dark circles loom under his eyes. Weakness is blood in the water, and the heads of the family are sharks circling, waiting to tear each other apart at the slightest whiff. The undercurrent of panic in his usually confident tone sets your nerves on edge. I've never seen him like this. He seems almost scared. The thought unsettles you, and without giving too much thought as to why, your mind races, desperate to rectify the issue. Okay, what if we use that dynamic to our advantage? Explain. Well, even in a sea of sharks, someone's gotta be a megalodon. What if we aligned ourselves with whoever's in the top spot? Immediately, something sparks behind his eyes, and as light returns to his exhausted features, you feel yourself warm with pride. Usually the highest-ranking boss would be my dad, but without him it's Delilah Barnett. She's the one family head all the remaining bosses still respect. If I could get her on my side, she could call off the parlay entirely. The two of you lock eyes, thoughts aligning, and you feel the air between you charged with possibility. Then Dom reaches for the button of his shirt and starts to undress. Whoa, not that I'm complaining or anything, but what part of the plan is this? The part where we strategize getting Delilah's help won't be easy. First we'll need an audience with her, and we can't do that in last night's clothes. He flings the shirt aside and starts unbuckling his belt, giving your scrubs a once-over. I'll have Neil bring you something that suits. Sounds like you've got wardrobe handled. What do you need from me? What I need most is for us to not have another incident like we did a few days ago. Delilah's not going to side with me if I can't keep my house in order. He shoots you a meaningful glance, and you balk. Wait a minute, you're blaming me for that? I know you're trying to get under I was trying to get under your skin, but... Don't act like you didn't love every second. You can shoot me all the blistering looks you want, talk to me harshly, grab me to keep me in line, but none of it's fooling me. I know you better than that. Dom's eyes flash dangerously as you slowly advance on him, each measured step its own challenge. Admit it, you were rock hard at the thought of having to shoot someone to save me from myself, weren't you? Watch your mouth. Why? Because I'm right? Or because just the memory of it's turning you on right now? We could always find out. Your eyes deliberately drop to his bulge, made obvious by his unzipped slacks and his barely contained growls at you exactly how right you are. That smart mouth is exactly how we got into this mess. Maybe you should do something about it then. The challenge hangs in the air for one electric moment, and Dom closes the gap between you. His hand finds your jaw, fingers pressing into your sensitive skin, and the rough treatment sends heat flooding through between your legs. Your body betrays you as your nipples tighten beneath your clothes, yearning for his touch. Oh, I plan to. But first... He moves to a nearby drink cart and pours 2 glasses. It's time you learned about the 5 families. He hands you a glass, his fingers brushing yours deliberately. Well, I already know the coins. Spotting a map made in Philadelphia spread across a nearby desk, you move there, pointing at your location on its surface. You control Logan Square and parts of Rittenhouse because they're the good areas for casinos. Judging by this 30-year-old scotch, business is good. How'd I do? We also do a little insider training thanks to a few politicians we have in our pockets, but overall not bad. I pay attention. Who's next? The beta courts. They run most of the industrial areas. Think car theft operations, chop shops, and the like. Explains the junkyard. They use it to launder their money, and when they need to make a guy disappear, they shove him in the trunk of a wreck and crush the car. Ouch. That's a little much, don't you think? I do, they don't. Which is why that little scene you caused was so dangerous. You could have gotten killed. Imagine yourself being shoved into a junker, never to be seen from again, and shudder. His fingers trace a new section of the map. And this is the Ellis family, my mother's family. They used to control all of this, but they're in Florida full-time now. They mostly import and sell knockoffs before laundering the profits through beachside trinket shops aimed at gullible tourists. Pennsylvania and Florida aren't exactly close. What's the connection? My mom's family originated there. She made the move for my dad when they got married, and the Elises expanded operations. Genuine smile touches his lips. My parents used to bring me to spend summers there when I was little. Nothing but sand, surf, and watching the beachside cons unfold. Then, something shifts in his expression, a rare softness entering his features, and you can't help but try to decipher it. Alright, so we have happy and sad. I go with happy. Your whole face changes when you talk about the summers. It was only time when my parents weren't so serious. Like this one time we spent the whole day building sandcastles. Mom kept bringing me seashells, asking me if they met my exacting standards in a stupid posh accent. He can't fight back the smile that overtakes his face, and for a moment, your heart stops. You must have been very close. It was simpler then. Before I understood what a life in the mall really meant, before something vulnerable flickers across his expression, and before he can catch it, you grab it and latch on. Before you had to be the boss. Before I had to be anyone at all. For a moment, he seems to disappear in the memory. Then he catches himself and shakes it off. We're getting off track. The Bardets are who we need to focus on. His fingers traces a new territory. They're the smallest family, but the smartest. They got in the internet phishing scams and cryptocurrency early. They steal what they can from who they can, sell it on the dark web, launder everything through their family restaurant. Phishing. Sounds like they know the value of information. Which is exactly why we have to be careful what we reveal to Delilah. But it's only 4 families. I thought Beta Court called for the 5-family parlay. He points to another section of the map, and you quickly study the streets, only to realize it's the same barren neighborhood where he'd held weapons practice. The Washingtons were the 5th. They're considered defunct now, casualties of the last family war. There may still be a few survivors, but none of them will be at the parlay, so you'd be better off learning the code than focusing on them. The code? After the Washingtons fell, the remaining families created 3 rules to keep the peace. Tom holds up 3 fingers, carefully ticking them off as he speaks. 1. A member always pays their debts. 2. The family loyalty above all else. And 3. Respect is paramount. So, when I spoke out at the Beta Court meeting, you broke Rule 3. You stand frozen as the gravity of your situation finally sinks in. Wait a minute. You let me walk into the meeting completely blind. What is wrong with you? Excuse me? You don't hear a word he says. Instead, you pace the floor open-mouthed as the pieces all finally into place. The first thing with Neil, now this, you made a habit out of dragging me into your world without explaining any of it. And I was already on edge because you'd been pulling rank on me. I shouldn't have been even at the meeting. What kind of boss? Before he can finish, he grabs you, stopping you in your tracks and hauling you in close enough to feel his body heat. I wasn't pulling rank on you. I brought you to that meeting because I was making a show of good faith. Family doctors are valuable. No family head would risk bringing one to a meeting where they were planning violence. You think back to Evan's surprise when you introduced yourself, and suddenly the interest Evan took in you makes sense. Still, you press on. How was I supposed to know I was some secret symbol? You weren't. You were supposed to listen to me because I knew you were a secret symbol, because I am the boss. As control wavers, and as you watch him fight to rein in his temper just enough to make you understand. As a head of the family, the burden of knowing is mine. I bear it for you and everyone else who belongs to me. That's my job. So what? I'm just not supposed to think when I'm around you? He takes your face in his hands and tilts your head to gaze deeply in your eyes. You see the passion, the drive, the responsibility. Yours is not to make reply. Yours is not to reason why. Yours is to do or die. To the untrained ear, it sounds like a threat, but as Dom recites the poem with reverence, you hear the warning for what it is. He's taken so much on himself. And as the weight of all of it settles over you, realize how little you know about the dangers of his world and about Dom himself. Dom begins to, his bare skin burns as you watch his eyes flit to your lips. Did somebody order clothes fit for a bouge badass? The door bangs open and Neil saunters in, only to freeze as he looks between you. Oh, my bad. With a shaky breath, you pull out of Dom's grasp and turn your attention to the garment bag in his hands. That for me? Yeah, Dom said you have some business with the Bardots and needed to change. Delilah Bardot respects power and nothing says power like looking the part. You unzip the bag, revealing the outfit within. Power play, a look that commands respect. The moment you slip into the clothes, you feel different, powerful, dangerous. Well, Dom's eyes travel slowly over your curves, darkening with appreciation. It'll do nicely. Dom shrugs into a fresh suit. As you let your eyes wander his frame, he checks his phone. The Bardicks have accepted and are expecting us. Let's move. The Bardic family estate looms before you, and as you follow Dom up the front steps, the massive oak doors swing open to reveal a well-dressed woman. Dominic, it's been too long. Miss Bardic, thank you for seeing us. Her voice drips honey, but there's steel beneath the sweetness. As her gaze shifts to you, you extend your hand. Grey Gold, I'm the new Coin family doctor. So I've heard. Instead of taking your outstretched hand, she reaches past it. One stilettoed nail traces down your neck, dangerously close to your pulse point. Her touch lingers on the gold necklace at your throat, and something like approval flickers in her eyes. This is quite exquisite. I had my eye on a similar piece just last week. Great minds think alike. Grey has excellent taste. We'll see about that. Why don't you come in and I'll give you the tour? He turns away without waiting for an answer, and you follow, acutely aware of Dom's presence at your back as he whispers. She's going to use this as an opportunity to grill you. Think you're ready for it? Only one way to find out. Follow Delilah into the Great Hall, where floor-to-ceiling paintings of Philadelphia hang. Dom takes a closer look and frowns. These are paintings of each family's territory. Couldn't be window shopping, would you? Relax, Dominic. My interest in your land is purely aesthetic. I commissioned them from an artist I predict will be worth millions someday. You're looking at my nest egg. She gestures at the expensive art hanging on the walls, her eyes sharp as she studies your reaction. You school your face into a smile. Smart. Digital currency is the trend now, but you can never be too careful, and the city is a beautiful decor. Do you know much about Philadelphia, Grey? Enough to know that Coin family inherited most of their territory, as territory stretching across the whole city aligned their territory with their business interests. Alright, so inherited most of their territory, no, because he talked about how they had to fight tooth and nail. His territory stretching across, no. Aligned with their business interests. The high-end clientele in Logan Square and Rittenhouse makes their casino operations particularly profitable. Interesting observation. Strategy has always been a Coin strong suit. What can I say? We go where the money is. Your eyes meet Dom's, and you catch a subtle approval in his gaze. Got that one right. You follow her into the opulent living room, where LED ticker scrolls display various cryptocurrency values. Press the system. Dom mentioned your family had gotten into digital currency early. The Bardicks have always been forward-thinking. One must adapt to survive, though some families prefer different methods. Take Elise's, for example. I heard their venture is quite profitable. It was a night club, right? She eyes Dom with a gaze, but seeing the opportunity, you quickly chime in. Yes, their club vibe is incredible. They run a fishing company. I believe they focus more on retail. Retail. You're thinking of Neil's club. From what I understand, the Elise's operation is more about tourist trinkets. That's right. The Elise's prefer a beach bum lifestyle to grittiness of the nightlife. You note how Delilah's smile tightened just slightly at your correction. Silly me. An easy mistake. Delilah leads you into a vast library, its walls lined with first editions behind glass. Your collection is extraordinary. Years of careful curation. In our family, one doesn't simply disregard history. She selects a book, running her fingers over the gold-leafed pages. Though lately it seems our traditions have lost their weight. Her gaze lands on you, And through her words wobble with the threat of tears, the look behind her eyes is pure stone. Dom was right about that one thing. The family heads are always working an angle. You need to stay sharp. As you weigh how to respond, Dom clears his throat. I guess you've heard from Mr. Betacourt about our run-in in the parlay. Or are we still pretending this is a friendly visit? Dom's question cuts through Delilah's act as she drops the pretense, and the air in the room she is turning slightly cool. He and I had a lengthy conversation. Some things we agreed on, some we didn't. But there's one thing we both are dying to know. How is Xander enjoying his trip? Dom opens his mouth to answer, but Delilah holds up a finger and turns her gaze to you. We want to hear from Gray, after all. I'm sure he's sending updates to the family. Delilah turns her gaze to you, and you rack your brain for an answer that'll match the excuse Dom and Xander came up with. Mr. Coyne is unplugged, hard at work, relaxing. Alright, so as I believe Dom had said he was on a business trip, so hard at work. Just last week he sent word that he was finalizing some very lucrative deals in Europe. Dom's posture relaxes slightly at your answer, but Delilah's eyes harden. Right. And how's that going? The way everything goes when a coin sets their mind to it. Successfully. Delilah's eyes narrow, her frustration at your united front plain. Miss Barnett, we'd like to ask you to back us in canceling the parlay. As you can see, Gray's learned from our meeting with Evan. Delilah's scrutinizing gaze falls to you. After a moment, she smiles. I must admit I'm inclined to believe you, Dominic. Heaven knows, training up the next generation of a family is never easy. I promise I'm doing all I can to understand and respect your world. What happened at the Beta Courts will never happen again. I'm sure everything seems to be well in hand. So, we can count on your support then? Dom extends his hand and Delilah pauses, her eyes hardening. I would, but something just isn't sitting right. Why would you bother to curry favor with me when it would be easier to reach out to your father? The fact that you haven't makes me wonder what you're hiding, and I intend to find out. Are you kidding me? Delilah's snap. Armed Bardic family members materialize from the shadows. Thank you for the visit. My men will show you out now. We know the way. Dom guides you towards the door, and the guards trail you, his eyes boring into your back. But as you step into the hallway, you can't help but notice the door to the great hall is open just a crack, and as Dom skulks next to you, an idea forms. Delilah isn't the only one who can scheme. Set your sights on a guard and slow your steps. Actually, can I use the restroom first? The guard hesitates, unsure of his next move, and you double down. Please, it was a long drive. You see the man's will breaking, and finally he cracks. Fine, I'll wait for you at the front door. The moment he's out of sight, you grab Dom and head towards the Great Hall. I figured you had something up your sleeve. What are you doing? Sending a message. If there's one thing I've learned from my time as a coin, it's that telling Dominic Coin no comes with consequences. And I know just how to hurt Delilah most. As you rip open the door, the various tourniquets glint in the bright light, and you can't help but shoot Dom a look. Imagine her face when she realizes her nest egg is destroyed. We're playing with fire here, Gray. Still, as he looks around, you can see the idea taking hold. Maybe that's exactly what you need right now, a chance to let loose, to stop being a perfect family head for just a moment. Something wild and untamed flashes in his eyes, and as you realize you're seeing him without the careful control, you can't help but want to see more of the real Dominic Coyne. I'll watch the door. Get this out of your system so we can get out of here with some plausible deniability. And let you miss all the fun? I don't think so. You grab his arm, pulling him further into the room. I saw you out there when Delilah said no. You need this just as much as I do. We'll find another way to handle the parlay. Of course we will, but that's not the point. When was the last time you really let loose, Dom? You trail your fingers along a priceless vase as you span the room looking for your first victim. I should break everything. Every painting in sequence, the chandelier in one crash, as many artifacts as possible. As many artifacts. Haven't you heard misery loves company? That's because sometimes the best way to deal with disappointment is to make someone else's problem. You sweep your arm across a display shelf, sending priceless artifacts crashing to the ground. Having fun? More than I probably should be. Care to join me? The way he looks at you makes your heart race faster than adrenaline, and you find yourself desperate to keep it trained on you. He sighs. You're a bad influence. With a cursory look around the room, he prowls towards a wall of paintings just showcasing each family's territory. The aesthetics of Philadelphia, my ass. His fingers curl around the edge of the first frame. She's probably mapping out her boundaries and planning her expansion. The canvas rips free with a satisfying tear. A dangerous smile curves his lips. Now that's what I'm talking about. He tears through painting after painting, his movements elegant, even in destruction. I have to admit, this is a good look on you. What, destroying priceless art? No, letting go. Usually, even when you're mad, you're so controlled. All sharp suits and sharper words. Been a long time since anyone's seen me let go. He turns to you. There's something wicked in his expression that makes your pulse skip. You should consider yourself lucky. Sounds like it's lonely at the top. It's a necessity. Can't exactly get caught up in your emotions when you're running a family. Is that what Daddy taught you? He taught me a lot of things. He adopts a slower, deeper voice as he considers the golden photo frame in his hands. Dominic, you can get angry, but never lose your temper. Don't run from a fight, but don't look for one. Enjoy yourself, but never lose your focus. And his eyes find yours again. They burn with an intensity that steals your breath. Think past what feels good in the moment. Do what's right for your family. That must have been lonely to maintain. You can't get the level of control in close proximity with people. We're social creatures. It's in our nature to be emotional. The only way to head that off would be to keep everyone at arm's length, never letting them close enough to affect you. You'd have to have no one who really knows you. Dom carefully lifts a delicate figurine, turning it in his hands. I wouldn't say no one. I had Neil. His mother wasn't from a family, so when he stayed with her, he got to be normal. You look up from your grip on an antique music box to find Dom lost in a memory. When he finally looks up, his smile is breathtaking. He didn't get to spend a lot of time with me and Dad because his mom was pretty wary about what he might see. Rightly so. Yeah, but it meant that when he did visit, Dad made sure we kept a lid on family business. Come around, suddenly I wasn't a coin soldier. I was just a big brother, locking him in a closet, wrestling over the remote, listening to his girl issues. The warmth in his voice makes your heart ache, and as you drop the box, the cylinder inside tinkles out a dying note. One relationship, Dom? That's all you've allowed yourself? Dom looks at you for a moment, then draws a deep breath. The figurine in his hand sails across the room, shattering against the wall. One is all I needed. It's not about need, it's about deserve. You had to bypass all those formative moments. You should have had your brother and a best friend, a childhood girlfriend you were way too serious about. cringy moments when you spoke before you thought that you lay in bed and think about all these years later. Dumb. As he grasps an entire display case, you touch his shoulder and he freezes in his tracks. You deserved more. For a moment, the two of you lock eyes, then Dom heaves, pulling it against the case and sending it toppling to the floor with a thunderous crash. Instead, I have an empire, so I'll call it even. But the hollowness in his voice betrays him as he kicks through the wreckage. Besides, I think we're overlooking the fact that my dad was right. All the control earned me was a lot of respect in the family. People twice my age started looking to me for answers. They trusted me so much that when Dad told everybody about his business trip, naming me acting boss, no one batted an eye. The words are all there, but as he delivers them, Dom stomps to the door, destroying things with a sudden ferociousness that gives you pause. You draw closer, laying a hand on his shoulder. But he looks at you, his eyes searching for yours for a moment. You don't think he'll say anything, and then... But sometimes I wonder if I got so good at being a coin, I forgot how to be a person along the way. He turns to face you full on, the intensity in his gaze making your stomach clench, and as he steps close, his hands find your jaw. If I'm honest, I'm a little jealous of you. His thumb traces the contours of your bottom lip, and with every swipe you feel the fire in your belly roar to life. That mouth of yours knows no bounds. Maybe that's what you need in your life. I can loan you mine if you'd like. A deep groan comes from the depths of his throat, and the sound that makes you throb with want, the evidence of your arousal slick against your underwear. You do that, and I've got better plans for it than talking back to let off some steam. You joke, but keeping quiet isn't always in your best interest. And where'd you learn that, Doc? All at once, the gunshots, screams, deafening silence of your memories rush back. You find hard to swallow them down. Let's just say I had an experience that taught me that sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is nothing, to say nothing at all. His thumb pauses, and he stares so deeply into your gaze, you're sure he sees that night in your mind's eye just as clearly as you do. Then voices echo through the hall. They're not in the bathroom, ma'am. And yet their car is still here, which means they are. Find them. Footsteps thunder across the marble flooring. Steps past the closed door, and Dom reaches for his weapon. Dom, no. What do you think is going to happen when they open the door, Gray? Because I'll give you a hint, it's not good. Killing them will only bring us more issues than we've already got. You look around desperately, and you notice the second entrance. Your heart races. There's a side door. Let's just leave. There's no cameras in here. They can't prove we did any of this. So who the hell did? Seriously, you didn't think this one out. For a moment, he seems torn as he looks back at the door to the hallway. You grab his face, forcing him to look at you. We can still get out of here without bloodshed. His jaw clenches, but you see the moment he decides to give in. He nods sharply and takes your hand. Let's go. Stay close. The two of you race through the darkened corridors before reaching the foyer, your heart pounding as footsteps echo behind you. This way, I heard something. They're going to catch us. You run for everything you're worth, only for Dom to grab you by the waist, yanking you sideways into a shadowed alcove, pressing you against his body. Don't move. Guards rush past your hiding spot, and you turn away, focusing on his breath against your neck, his fingers flexing against your hip. His balls pressing firmly against your hip, you shift against it just the slightest bit, and his grip tightens, pulling you that much closer. I've got you. Those 3 words shouldn't affect you this much, but they do. As the sound of footsteps fades, neither of you move. In the darkness, you can just make out his face inches from yours, his expression intense. We should go, while we have the chance. What if, for just a second, I don't have so much control if I just let it go? His gaze drops your lips, and already you can see the hunger in his eyes gnawing at the fabric of discipline holding him together. Only one way to find out. And with that, the last thread of his control snaps. He closes the distance between you, claiming your mouth with his. Slow. You slide your hands to his hips, taking your time caressing his length despite the danger. Swallow his groan as his hips can't into your grasp. You feel every ridge, vein as he burns hot against your palm. His kiss starts achingly tender in response, his fingers skimming your skin rather light as you might break at any second. Dom draws back breathless, his eyes searching your face in awe, and lean in slowly and place 3 careful pecks on your lips. Who knew the mighty Dominic Coin could be so gentle? Not a crime to want to take my time, Gray. Admission sends warmth blooming through your chest. I don't know isn't good enough. They have to be here somewhere. Delilah's voice breaks the spell, and as Dom pulls back, he reels himself back in. We need to get out of here. It's not like we can just walk right out the door. Can't we? He reaches into his jacket and pulls out a delicate crystal vase before peering from your hiding spot and launching it down the hall. The crash echoes distantly, and there's a flurry of footsteps race in that direction, leaving the path clear. The one benefit of thinking things through. After you. Together, you stroll through the double doors, out into the evening air and into the car before peeling out and onto the street. I can't believe we just did that. I can't believe you're not just a hellion for me. I don't know whether to be relieved or jealous. Definitely jealous. You can save relieved for after we figure out how to get your dad to the parlay. I'm not worried. When it comes to you, I realize that nothing is out of the realm of possibility. He looks at you as you ease onto the highway, a hint of a wild smile you helped unleash still on his face. Only for your phone to buzz with an email notification. And the sky to open up, unleashing a torrential downpour. Dear Dr. Gould, it has come to our attention that there are some concerns regarding your professionalism in the workplace. Several of your peers allege that you have been falsely claiming family emergencies in an effort to take personal time, and there have been concerns about cell phone use on the clock. But the most egregious infraction comes from a patient's guardian who alleges you abandoned a patient in the middle of a life-threatening surgery. We trust you understand the allegations as such of these pose a threat to the Franklin Memorial Hospital as a whole and cannot go unanswered. In an effort to uncover the truth, there will be a disciplinary hearing held in 2 days' time. In the interim, your privileges have been suspended. Failure to appear will result in immediate dismissal. Sincerely yours, Dr. Vidalia Harris, Chief Resident, Franklin Memorial Hospital. Rain pounds against the windows of Dom's penthouse as you pace the floor reading the email aloud. I can't believe this is happening. What am I supposed to do now? Dom pushes away from the window and moves behind you, pausing your nervous stride to read over your shoulder. It's a hearing, not an execution. Nothing's been decided. We still have 2 days to figure something out. Figure what out? It was one thing to do procedures away from the hospital, but now they've been suspicious, or they've suspended my privileges. I'm a doctor in name only. If I so much as diagnose a patient, I could go to jail, not to mention the parlay is still happening. Your father's condition hasn't changed. As you turn to start pacing again, Dom grips your shoulders and guides you towards his desk. It won't be easy, but we've already proven that we won't be denied once today. What's a few more times? We need a plan. Way ahead of you. He moves to the desk and unlocks a drawer before pulling out a thick stack of files. I've gone over all the options, but there's only one solution left that gets him to the meeting. He spreads the papers across his desk, and as you move in for a closer look, you recognize your hospital employee photo. This is my hospital personnel file. Why do you have this? I needed to make sure you're as good as I thought you were. Turns out you're better. He straightens, taking a step towards you. This is perfect, because you're going to operate on my father. What? No. I know it's not ideal, but what's the other choice do I have? If Dad's not at the parlay, I have to answer to 3 mob families that will probably have me killed. He moves to shift closer, but you take a step back. I understand, but that bullet was left there for a reason. The placement is incredibly precarious for an experienced neurosurgeon, which, by the way, I am not. And did you miss when I said I can't practice? Do you want me to kill your father? Of course not. The surgery he needs has the same odds of killing the patient as saving them, and that's in a hospital with a trained neurosurgeon. What you're asking for is murder with extra steps. Move to the center of the room as Dom's expression hardens. He trails behind you, close on your heels. What I'm asking you to do is your job. My what job? Because of you, I might never see the inside of an OR again. You know you're pushing too far, as you picture Miss Morton's face and feel the slow swirl of your career headed down the drain. You can't stop yourself from lashing out. His jaw clenches, the delicate tight rope of control. He walks, something as visible as a puppet's strings. Gray, I'm not asking. Anger whirls you around to find Dom's only a step behind, and you let it warm you as you draw closer. That's the problem. You never ask, you demand. We're all expected to jump through hoops. Miss Morton trusted me. She put her faith in me after everyone else turned her away. I promised to stay with her son through his surgery, and I left him there on the table because you called. As far as I'm concerned, this is all your fault. Lightning crackles outside as your words echo through the office. He stalks towards you, slowly closing the gap. Watch it, Gray. I swear if you were anyone else. You step forward, getting right in his face, your eyes blazing with defiance. You would what, Dom? Kill me? Do it. You grip his hand and press it to your throat. Because I'm so sick of your empty threats. You think I won't? His grip begins to tighten, but you don't back down, choosing instead to lock eyes with him. I think you've had plenty of chances. The tension crackles between you like electricity, and for a moment neither of you moves. Then Dom drops his hand as you stagger back. Just like I thought. You place the keys to your sports car on his desk and turn towards the doors. Rain continues to pour outside. Where are you going? We're not done. Oh, yes, we are. I'm not going to perform an operation that'll kill a man. I quit. But just as you're about to head out, Dom's voice cuts through the sound of rain. We're the mob, Gray. The only way out is death. You pull the door open, step over the threshold, pausing only long enough to call out over your shoulder. When you can stomach it, you know where I live. Okay, damn, girl. Hours later, the storm still rages outside your apartment. You've almost dozed off when a sharp knock at your door startles you fully awake. Immediately, you already know who it is. There's only one person who'd be crazy enough to come here in this weather. Lightning illuminates your apartment as you approach the door, and when you open it, he stands in the doorway, completely drenched. His eyes meet yours, and you find them dark and unexpressive as he growls out. Come on, Gray. Let's go for a ride. Alright, so, yeah. Playing catch-up. Without further ado, if you do enjoy the content that I do, please make sure to support it. Otherwise, I'll catch you all later. Peace out.